Luna, who would you consider to be a soulmate?
Yeah. All right.
Hi, this is Camber.
Hi, this is Nakisha, and you're listening to Wise and Weird.
Oh, well, we could just jump in, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not about transitions. So
Astrology.
Gotta let my people know what's up with these planets and Uranus and stuff. Gotta let you know what's up with Uranus.
Somebody has to.
Someone should. Might as well be me, right?
I can think of no one else better to talk about my Uranus. I can't.
Oh man, love it. So next week, once this airs, actually it will be, I have it kind of lined up to when it airs. I'll be talking about what's going on in the next few days. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was Neptune goes direct in Pisces on December 1st. So Neptune has been, what that means basically is Neptune has been in retrograde, and now it will be stationing direct and start with moving forward, basically. So it's coming out of retrograde. It goes direct in the sign of Pisces, December 1st. So it's a really great time to honor your creative ideas, like any creative ideas that are coming in, especially any messages in your dreams. Neptune is a very creative, dreamy planet. So with this going forward, it tends to bring in more clarity. I love how we were like joking about Uranus, and there's like nothing about Uranus in this. I was just dreaming about it. But yeah, it's a great time to honor your creative ideas, listen to and honor messages coming in dreams, and hopefully those things bring you more clarity. It's a time that things tend to come to light or be revealed. And I know that I've said that recently in podcasts with some of the other like planet aspects. I've said that too, that things can come to light and be revealed. And there's a way though with Neptune, it's not so much in, I think the last time that I was talking about that, it had something to do with Uranus, which is more like a revulsion type of planet, like, like revolution and breakthroughs. And it's usually in a disruptive. With Neptune, it's not so much like disruptive, but it would just be more in a positive type of way, in an enlightening way. So yeah, things can come to light, be revealed, confusion can be gone from a certain situation. So it's a really good time to seek out inspiration, especially when it comes to like the arts or any kind of like creative type of endeavors that you have, like a podcast.
Yeah, I'm for that. Yeah.
So December 1st, peeps, get dreamy. And then December 4th, we have a new moon total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have another eclipse. It's eclipse season right now. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I've definitely been feeling it. The effects of a solar eclipse, or really any kind of eclipse, but the effects of it are typically going to last around 6 months. And it really depends on too where you have your Sagittarius placement on like where this will affect you most. I have Sagittarius ascendant, so it affect me in some of those, certain type of aspects, but also whatever house you have that is ruled by Sagittarius, you may want to look, if you know enough about your birth chart to be able to look at that and see which house is in Sagittarius, then that kind of tells you what area, that lets you kind of know what area you will be most affected by this. But so yeah, new moon eclipse in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about belief systems. Sagittarius is about philosophy. I don't even know what I was about to say. Oh my gosh, they're about stuff that I'm apparently not.
Falafels.
all the falafels, all of them.
I did that the other day. I was like trying to say academies, and I was like academy, academs, and Alan's like, "You're the one that went to college," and I was like, "I know."
Oh my gosh, F-. Yeah, when you go to sound all, I'm literally saying the word philosophy and I can't even say it. I'm trying to be all philosophical over here and it's not working out. It's not a good look. So yeah, belief systems, philosophy, travel, especially long distance travel. They're all about like different culture, exploration, adventure, discovery, but also very big on like personal truths. One thing that I find with Sagittarius, it's a lot about not just talking about it, but being about it. So it's kind of like all of these things that you've learned through travel, through culture, through adventure, all of these things that you've learned, it's about going then and moving forward and applying it. So that's kind of like the big themes around Sagittarius. And then the new moon is a really good time for, well, it's a time for something new. The new moon is just, new beginnings, basically, or moving towards something. So with this eclipse, it's going to have a theme, with the eclipse being in Sagittarius specifically, it's going to have a theme of like fresh new ideas, visiting new places or new lands. It can also be a change in beliefs. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like something could happen or be revealed that completely changes your like belief system or your religion. We may find that people start really, changing their beliefs or religion, leaving certain religions or entering, new ones. So it's a really interesting time. And then, there's that philosophy word again. And it's about, changes in your falafels. But I wrote down changes in faith. Sagittarius is all about being positive. They're very optimistic, one of the most optimistic signs. So it is about optimistic outlooks as well. So whatever this new change is, I mean, it sounds kind of bad about like, oh, your beliefs could change, but typically it's going to be in like a positive way. It's going to be in an optimistic or positive way or outlook. Think expansion, the big picture. Sagittarius is very focused on like big picture overall, not really like hung up on the details of things, which I know I mentioned before. So try not to get so hung up on details and like look at the bigger picture and be optimistic about things. And it's a really good time to put forth travel plans as well. Have things to look forward to. Did want to warn really quick that flaws in your beliefs. So with this changing of beliefs, if that's how this affects you, there can be like flaws in your current beliefs that pop up. And that's kind of what inspires this change, maybe. So it could be something like that, but there's like something that's going to be revealed that like leads to these changes. And then, I just ended it with looking at which house is ruled by Sagittarius for you. And then that will tell you, like say Sagittarius is your 10th house, then this eclipse is more going to affect you in career, in like your career placement and stuff. So it's like, okay, am I getting a new position where I travel more for work? Or am I getting a promotion? Am I finding out that this isn't the job for me at all? This doesn't line up with my beliefs, my core values at all, stuff like that. So big changes. Changes. Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like I didn't know that about Sagittarius season and everything that's going on. And I had a long conversation, like a 4-hour conversation with Dallin about that on our drive home. Like just massive changes in belief systems and stuff like that. So that's so weird.
Really?
Yeah. And I
That's
listened to
funny.
like 5 hours of podcasts about it too, just like being in integrity, like believing something, but then also living your beliefs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
Yeah.
I'm becoming so aware of where I'm not doing that. So that's kind of interesting.
That's cool. Yeah.
Do we even have free will?
I know, like that's a whole different podcast. No, but yeah, Sagittarius is very much about that. A lot of people don't know that they always see them as like just the adventurer type of, which they are. They're like daredevil type of people and, adventurous, and it's all about that. But there's also a really, really deep side to Sagittarius. It's very, it's very much about applying what you've learned. So it's really cool. Another thing that I learned about the signs, just really quick, a lot of people don't know about this, but I refer to this a lot because this kind of helped me. But the order of the signs. So it starts with Aries, right? Aries is compared, like each sign has an age. So Aries is compared to like a newborn baby. Kind of like, they need full attention. They're well, it's not really about like whining and crying and stuff, but more so like they're the first sign. It's just so new.
I'm like, are you calling out Aries?
I know. I'm like, I love Aries, but yeah, I didn't mean it like that, but it does kind of sound bad when I say it like, but that's so kind of what they're working on. The big thing with Aries is their independence. That's like their like life journey, I guess, as an Aries, is like learning how to be completely independent and stuff in like a healthy way. Taurus is mine, but that's the second sign. Their age is kind of compared to like a toddler. Learning the simple joys in life. Like things start really becoming tangible to them. They're all about like the senses and what's mine and what's yours and stuff like that. So with Taurus, it's kind of about navigating the world and like figuring out that everything's mine. No, just
The rest of us don't get anything.
basically. But yeah, so each sign has kind of like an age associated with it. So Sagittarius is pretty far like down the line, so they're more about, they're about like culture and travel, but it's like that one's kind of compared more to like retirement age or even after, so I would believe. But applying everything that you've learned like throughout your lifetime and through all of this, through whatever you experienced, all of your experiences, and applying that. So that's really cool when you think about it like that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah.
Soulmates. Hey.
Do you hey. do you believe in soulmates?
Do I believe in soulmates? I do believe in soulmates. I don't think I believe in them in the same sense that a lot of people do.
Same.
Yeah, I know we've had this conversation before, but I definitely believe that you have more than one soulmate and different kinds of soulmates. And I don't believe that soulmates are like long-term things always. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean that person has to stay with you throughout this entire life. Um, and that can mean like a friend or family member or romantic partner or whatever. So I definitely believe in them. Yeah. Do you believe in soulmates?
Cool.
I know you said same, but
Yeah. Um, yeah, I definitely do. And I've I have kind of the same beliefs on that. Like, I don't believe that it necessarily is just a romantic partner. It could be really like anyone. Um, and I believe there's people in my life that I've believed are to be like soulmates. The more that I've been learning about things, though, like having like readings done on myself, or which I'll kind of get more into that later, I guess. But I've even had like a past life regression type of thing. So when I talk about soulmates, I also think that there's an aspect of, and this is kind of where it might get weird for some people, because if you don't believe in like past lives and things like that, that's that's totally fine. But I do, and so I believe that some of these soulmates can be like people that we've experienced other lifetimes with.
mm,
um but like I've taken a couple of classes, or there's just like certain healers that I follow and stuff, and they've even talked about having a soul family. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it very lightly, but I have never delved into it at all.
I thought it was interesting, and now that I've been learning more about the Akashic records, which I don't know if you're familiar with either, but now that I've been learning more about the Akashic records, what they claim is that you kind of have this like soul family that
Mm.
throughout all of your lives, and there'll be different things to you, but you are kind of keep having like re-experiencing lifetimes with these certain group of people, and it goes pretty far out. They also say it's like a big giant spider web, just a really intricate spider web, and you've got like your acquaintances or people that you've like barely even met are going to be like further out, and then you have the closer people on the web to you are the ones that you're experiencing these like multiple lifetimes with and stuff. So I don't know. It gets pretty out there. I'm into all of that, but um, so I think a lot of times, like with soulmates, I'm like, are you just recognizing like this other soul that you've been with?
Yeah. So I have a question for you. Then, so with that, like, would those soulmates be play different roles in different lifetimes, or is it like that was your um, romantic partner in a previous life and they're your romantic partner now, or is it like Luna could have been like your mom, or something like that?
Yeah, I totally believe that. That they can be different things in each lifetime. Because I believe that our souls are here to experience it all. Like we want to experience all these different aspects of ourself, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, and it's crazy because I had a past life regression recently. I don't even know if I told you about this experience. Did I?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was really vivid. It was crazy. I was in India. I was this Indian woman, and I was like just looking out my window, just thinking about my life and stuff. And I was married to a man. He was a little bit older than me, and I wasn't in love with him. I think it may have been an arranged marriage. And in my memories, I was thinking about this other man that I did love. There was another man that I was actually in love with. And I was thinking about this memory of him and I sitting in this garden together, this beautiful garden. We were just talking, nothing, I don't think anything ever happened between us. because I was faithful to this other man, but I definitely had this longing for this other person and like wished things had turned out differently. And yeah, I was like thinking of this other man sitting in the garden. And then I started getting sad because I started thinking about my brother. I think I had a really close brother. We may have been twins in this lifetime. And he was missing. Like I hadn't seen him in like a couple of years. No one knew what happened. Like I didn't know what happened to him or whatever. He was missing at the time. And when I was thinking of this brother, I recognized him as Tor. And I'm getting chills right now just talking about it. But yeah, I recognized him as Torrance.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy. And then it just kept going. I was like in my house, just walking around. It was just a beautiful house. There was like marble and like spiral staircase. It was like we were really well off, I guess. And then my daughter starts walking down the stairs. And I even remembered her, like, I don't remember the name now, but her name came up in this like whole vision, this past life regression. Her name came up and it was a beautiful Indian name that I've never like heard of before. It wasn't something I just like made up. It was really interesting that it was like, and it was in my head. I wish I wrote it down. I don't know why I didn't, but I really wish I wrote it down. It was so pretty. But yeah, she came walking down the stairs and she's just so beautiful. And I remember just looking at her and I had this overwhelming love for her. It like made me want to cry. I just adored her. And she came down the stairs and kissed me on the cheek and we like greeted each other. And I recognized her as Luna.
Aww.
And yeah, it was really crazy. And then a little while later, she like left the house, I guess. And I was just standing in my kitchen. And all of a sudden I felt this like pain in the back of my head. My husband had murdered me. My husband,
shit.
like, yeah, I know that just took a total turn. It was past life regressions it's so intense, And I just remember like all of a sudden it was like I was looking at myself I saw myself on the kitchen floor. And the first thing, like, I just remember feeling so sad, just really shocked, but also so sad that I wasn't going to see my daughter again. And I remember just crying, and I just felt so, yeah. And so when I came back from that, that's all I could think about. And it was just crazy because I started thinking, I'm like, maybe like, what if, if that really happens, then what if like, yeah, like we get a chance to have this lifetime together. My brother was missing in that life. Luna lost me in that lifetime pretty young, she was 19 in it. So, yeah, it made me think like, what if now we have a chance to like be together? And I actually have some other past life stuff from a psychic with Tor that we can go over later. But yeah, pretty interesting.
That's wild. I love that. I think just so listeners are aware too, Tor is now your husband.
Yeah.
And yeah, Luna's your daughter now. So as you're saying, your past life regression was like she's been your daughter twice.
Yeah.
Maybe more, but for sure twice.
Yeah, I think possibly even more, or like, but yeah, I mean, it's really crazy. I don't know. So I totally think stuff like that. You haven't done like a past life regression or anything, have you?
I haven't yet. I really want to.
I thought you did, actually. Didn't we talk about it one time? You were talking about you were a man.
No, I've had a dream that I've been a man before, a very rich man, multiple times. I had a weird dream once, and I had 3 separate lives in this dream. It was like 3 separate dreams in one night. And it was really funny, actually, because the very first one was like tribal. I couldn't tell you where exactly, but I wouldn't even say that we had communication, like spoken word yet. And I remember that I journaled all about it too, but I remembered that I actually died, and it wasn't brutal, but it was like I couldn't kill animals, and I was a man, and I wouldn't kill them to eat. And so I starved to death in a cave, and the tribe was like obviously they're not going to just feed me, which makes sense, but I couldn't communicate. I remember feeling frustrated because we didn't have words and I couldn't communicate that I was too like scared. Like I didn't want to do it. And so,
Weird.
yeah, which is really funny because it's like
Wow.
obviously a lifelong dharma of mine that I really, really struggle with. Eating animals just has been, I guess, a thing because it's like I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up in a world where not eating animals or milk and meat and stuff is so big in my family. And I've just always been way more drawn to not. So I thought that was
Weird.
interesting. Um, yeah, because I believe in dharmas as well, and I think we can carry those
Mm-hmm.
along with us in ours. And another one, I can't remember the third one as well, but another one was I feel like it was in the early 1900s, and I was a single man that never got married and never had romantic relationships and never had children. And I became very rich. And I think it was in the United States, even. And I just remember being like very business minded, which I also think is interesting because I feel like I'm that way now too.
Mm-hmm.
um, but I also remember still being an outsider because I refused to like get married and have children. So it would be interesting to dive into those further. They felt
Wow.
very, very real
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to other dreams where I'm just like, oh shit, like I watched a scary show last night and I know that's
Yeah.
why there was a monster. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess that could be considered past life regression in its own way for sure. Because I meditate a lot before I go to bed. So I think, I don't know if it just naturally happened, but I've never like intentionally gone to someone to help go into that. And I really want to. I have done
Yeah.
like the eye gazes into other people's eyes or like into your own, which is kind of wild.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did that happen for you? Like they say that it changes, you'll like see who you were in a past life, like physically when you do that.
Yeah, it sort of started to do that. I feel like it was more of like an ego death of I didn't get past the part of just like, oh, like I'm nobody in the best way. You know, I don't actually exist here or like everything's kind of a mirror feeling. But yeah.
Yeah.
So when you did it, you
Cool.
had someone like walking you through it though.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, well, now I have like an online class that's just sitting there that I need to take. But yeah, I went to this person who teaches classes on it. So yeah, I had a session done. It was really intense. I was crying. Like when I came back out of it, I'm sitting there crying and stuff because it's just like, I won't see my daughter. I remember just having this like really panicked like feeling and stuff. So it's intense stuff. And I journaled about it and stuff. And I don't know, I need to go back because I wonder if I did write her name down in that. But yeah, it was really cool. And it feels almost like a dream, but it's very realistic. You're feeling these actual feelings. Like
A
it's different.
memory.
Yeah. And even the pain
Mhm.
in the back of my head and how you like know, yeah, it's like you just know that it's a memory. It's like, oh, I've been here before. Oh, like, no, this happened to me, and how I like recognize certain people, like, oh, this person doesn't look anything like Torrance, but this is Tor.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were like twins and stuff. It's so weird though, because like years ago, I'm gonna back up a little bit, like quite a few years ago, Tor and I took a cabin trip. This was back when it was just us. I don't even think we were married at this time. And we just took a trip out to the cabin. There was no like TV or anything. And so we were just staring at the fire for like 4 hours. We're like just staring into this fire.
Yeah.
And while we're looking at it, all of a sudden, Tor, he's just like, we've known each other in a past life. I was like, what? Like, keep talking because I love this shit. And
Right.
so, like, I love it. I live for it. So I was like, what? Keep talking. And he's like, no, we did. He's like, we've had like multiple past lives together. And I'm like, what? And he was like, he's like, I can see one right now. He's like, we're like, mate. He's like, there's one where we were like, yeah, it was like tribal or But it was a really long time ago and stuff. And he's like, it's almost like we're the same person. He's like, we're like twins or something, or almost like we're the same person or something like that. Which I think a lot of time with twins, it can be like one soul split into two bodies. That was something I was going to bring up, but yeah. So I'm like, maybe it was like that kind of a situation. I don't know. But yeah, he was talking about that for a little bit. Just that one, we were really, really connected. We didn't even really use words or language a whole lot. We just kind of like could feel each other and knew. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then there was another one. He was like, and then we had another one, but we were like forbidden to be together. He's like, but it was almost like love at first sight. Like I saw you, like I was so in love with you. He's like, you were in love with me too, but we like could not be together. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, yeah, you were like in royalty, and I just was like a regular like field worker or something like that. And yeah, he just goes on and on talking. And I was just like, okay, well, this is cool. Story time. And then forward to a couple of years after that, we just for fun, it was like us, well, actually, yeah, it was us celebrating our 2 years together, and we were in San Diego. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go get a psychic reading done. There was a psychic like down the street or whatever. We rode those like electric scooters to the appointment. It was fun. But yeah, so we get there, and she's like, oh, I don't normally do couples readings. I'm like, oh no, well, that's what I wanted. I'm like, okay. And we start walking away, and she's like, no, she's like, she's like, I'll do yours. And she's like, I don't normally like to, she's like, it made sense later, but she's like, I don't normally like to do a lot of couples readings just because a lot of them don't, stay together, or, there's not a lot of like information there and stuff. I'm like, I get that. And she was like, but no, she's like, I had a lot that I could tell you guys. And so I was like, okay. So we sit down, and it was kind of just for fun. And then all of a sudden she said something, I just like burst into tears. This lady, we still talk about the reading that we had from her. Like to this day, we still talk. Like I remember like word for word the whole thing. It blew me away. But there was a part, she was like, do you want to know about your past lives? I'm like, yeah. And so yeah, she was like, yeah, you and Torrance. She's like, there was a lifetime. She's like, you guys have had multiple lifetimes together. She's like, but in the last lifetime, you guys were forbidden to be together. And I was just like, oh, they like look over at Tor, and she was like, yeah, she's like, you guys loved each other right away. You guys knew it, you feel it, the time that you guys spent together was very intense and it was very real, but you guys could not, like, you were forbidden to be together. And so she was like, do you want to know how it ends? Because it was pretty tragic. And I was like, yeah, I still want to know. But yeah, she said that I ended up moving on, and I married another man and had kids and stuff. But Torrance, he was just so torn up about it and stuff. She said that he died. He left. He killed himself. And I was like, oh, that's so sad.
I was like, are you trying to avoid saying
I know.
it?
Well, I was kind of trying to, because I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be like a trigger and stuff. But yeah, but she was like, she spun it around after it, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. And I was just looking at him, and he's like, yeah, like he was like, I could tell, like, not I could tell, but he feels like, I don't know. He's like, yeah, I couldn't live without you. Like he just was like, yeah, of course, like I couldn't live without you. I'm like, oh well, I did. Like, oops. But she's like,
were you also a Taurus in the last one?
I had to have been. But yeah, actually I would have been more like a Sag or something, just like, forward moving. Taurus like sits in the past for sure. But yeah, she was like, but it's a positive thing, because this lifetime you guys are able to spend together, and like you guys have, and she was like, you'll live a long life. She told that to Tor. She told me, she's like, you'll have a really long life. I was like, oh shit. And I've heard that from 2 different readers too. They're like, you live a really, really long life. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we'll see. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff has come up in my readings for sure. I've recently had an Akashic Records reading where she said that my mom and I which was really interesting because my mom and I have a very strained relationship. We don't talk currently. But we used to be very, very, very close. And yeah, she was saying that in a past life, she was getting a vision where I was her mom. And then a life before that, she was my mom. So we've just done this switching back and forth. And so it made me stop and think. I'm like, like it's challenging here. But and she said this keeps happening every time too. When I was her mom, we also had turmoil. When she was my mom, we had like, we just keep trying again. And she was like, the best thing to do is just like lay down the ropes and just walk away. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I was like, oh, is she part of like my soul group or soul family? I kind of believe that maybe she is now. And when you think about it that way, then it's like, I don't know. It just brings.
She's not going anywhere. You better get used to it.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, like in a
Sure.
way, then it's like, hey, is a soulmate, like it's a challenging relationship or whatever. But yeah, I kind of do believe that she's one of my like soulmates or soul family, or there's something there about that.
Sure.
So
Do you
yeah.
believe that we can have like new soulmates in this life that we haven't shared a life with? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I do. And I think that there's different ages to souls too. I think there's some that come down and want to experience like all these different lifetimes. And so they just come down one after another after another. And I think there's others that don't. And yeah, and I think that there's some souls that maybe are a little more naive and stuff. They're just beginning their journeys, or they haven't had near as many lifetimes. And I think there's other ones that are old souls and have experienced a lot more things with a lot more people. But yeah, I believe that we had these like soul contracts before coming down. And yeah, I believe we do that like with each lifetime. But I've thought about that before. I don't think it's always necessarily like a soul that you've had all these many lifetimes with. I think like new ones can come into the picture too.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I definitely feel that way. I think that me and Dallin have talked about that before, feeling like we've had like different lives together as well. And I think for soulmates too, part of that is like there's almost a lesson that you're trying to learn as a soul with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I wonder if once you learn that, you don't necessarily reconnect again, like learn that lesson. And I was thinking that like with you and your mom, for instance, it's like if you guys were able to somehow find whatever it is, figure out whatever it is that both of you have turmoil and it's like I wonder if that would resolve that dharma and that contract, and then all of a sudden it's like you don't have to keep learning that lesson anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think of soulmates a lot like that too. Yeah, I don't think it's like a forever eternal kind of soulmate where it's like, I know here where we grew up, with the religion that grew up here, as far as I'm understanding it, it's kind of like you have your eternal family sort of thing. It's like you die and then you have like your eternal family. And it's like, I don't believe it in that way, where it's like, I think that we have like the many lives. I agree with you on that. And I think that we can like once we resolve that like contract with someone, then we don't necessarily see them again, which doesn't make them like not a soulmate.
Right.
But I definitely believe in soulmates for sure, as far as like feeling like new soulmates too. I do believe that we have like new people that we meet, and those are like new. I don't know if it's like next level. It's like, oh, we've conquered one thing, so now we're meeting this new person and they're going to like be a mirror for something else. I think our soulmates are just like mirrors to ourselves. And I also know, like you mentioned, like the souls, the twin souls, like it's one soul separating that as well. And so that's one thing, like I have read a little bit about that as well. And I have had people who I felt that way about, but I've always had negative experiences in that way, where it's like whenever I felt like they were like a twin soul like that, I feel like it was more of a crazy, chaotic, like intense, just not even necessarily healthy kind of a way. So I think it's interesting, the difference. I don't think that all soulmates are that for sure. Are like one soul split in two.
Yeah, I don't think that's all soulmates either. I actually really like this quote. It's soulmate is our soul's recognition of its counterpart in another. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I don't always necessarily believe it's the one soul split in two. I think that's actually, to me, I feel like that's actually kind of more rare. I think there's like your soul family, your soulmates, and then the other thing. Well, I think people normally call it twin flame, but that more implies that it's like romantic connection, which I don't feel like it always has to be. Like the two, the one soul split in two bodies or whatever. I don't feel like that's always just romantic. It could be, I
Sure.
don't, to me anyway. But yeah, I do think there's kind of differences between like soulmates. I don't know. And then I've also had a lot of like instant connections where I just have this like I've actually had that a lot, where I feel like I have these like instant, really deep connections with people, almost like love them like right away, like love at first sight or something like that. And it's not even
Sure.
necessarily romantic. Most of it's with my like friends or just certain people. I've definitely had that before, and they don't stay in my, like, some of those are people I've met like on my travels or something like that, like didn't stay in my life long at all, but it's just,
Yeah.
there's an intensity there. I don't know if I consider them like a soulmate, but there's something to it, those like really instant connections too.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't that
yeah.
a quote from Wedding Crashers?
Oh my God, it totally is. I was like, will she know where this is from? It's
Yes.
so funny. Yeah. Wedding Crashers, this like totally funny movie that's like just whatever. And it has this quote in it that I'm just like, that's awesome. I love that. But yeah, that is so funny. Recognize that. I love that.
I love that
Yeah,
show.
it's a good quote. But I've
Yeah.
definitely had that, where even with someone like I've dated, I feel like I feel like Tor definitely is like a soulmate, and soulmate kind of connections. I just like just the way that it felt in the very beginning, just first meeting him, like in the first day, our first date, we've pretty much been together since then. Like it was crazy. It was so intense and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of weird because, Sakara was one of my best friends, and then one of her best friends, I feel like I also had an instant connection with, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird. It was like just like almost like best friends or something, like right away. And I mean, that one was more like a romantic type of connection, but it's just really interesting to have those and look back, and yeah, like people that aren't necessarily like in your life anymore. But I think there is this whole idea behind it, or this whole especially in Utah, of like they stay in your life forever, and eternity isn't even your life. That's like, so that's forever,
Yeah.
like forever, ever, like that's so long.
I know.
um
My
that's
Scorpio soul is like, no, it's
I
intense.
I can't
Well,
handle
not
it.
even. I guess I do get really obsessive.
I do too. Tauruses are pretty possessive. So I'm like, I kind of love hate that, but oh my gosh, yeah, the idea of like eternally, like that just freaks me out. I'm like, I can't go there. That's weird.
It just doesn't fit with my lived experiences, though. Like, it doesn't explain the past life regressions to me. It doesn't sit right in my body as truth at all. Where it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I like the idea that we all are like mirrors of each other. And I try to walk around the world remembering that too, like when I want to punch someone. But you know, it's like I need to like work on this shit or something. But mostly Utah drivers make me realize that. but I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
God. I had the worst road rage in Utah. Yeah. Definitely not my soulmates there.
no.
Man.
Yeah, I definitely feel, yeah, I feel that way with my friends a lot, but I think too, like I am notorious for like having my friends for a really long time. Like once you're my friend, it's like good luck getting out of my web. I'm just
You're trapped in my spider web. We like
you're
took this
here.
way too literal. Oh, that's funny.
And yeah, I think too, earlier on in my life, I didn't honor soulmates as much. And now I'm like, oh, as soon as I meet someone, if I feel like that about them, I'll honor it. I'll like make more time and space for that. But before it's like, I might get freaked out by it, I guess, and like push them away or something. And then I would make too much time for people that I just didn't feel connected to. And now I'm like, if I don't feel connected to you, like I honor you and I think that you're great. Like hope you have a wonderful life. Okay, bye. But
Yeah.
I didn't honor it as much when I was younger. And I feel like I honor it more now. And being aware that like I really believe in soulmates, I try to really pay attention to that when I meet new people.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I definitely, yeah, when I was younger, I don't think I honored it as much either. I don't think anyone did though, because I know that I've been told I'm someone's soulmate. Like
Oh,
I've had so many people, this sounds really bad, but I've had so many people tell me that I'm their soulmate. And I'm like, no, like, I was like, nah, like, I'm not feeling it. But now in hindsight, like, yeah, I'm like, no, we weren't at all. But
I
so
think
I don't
people
know.
say it so nonchalantly sometimes too, though, where it's like I've had dudes say that to me, and you were with me once
Totally.
too for
Yeah.
someone and I
Yeah.
was just like, it's been like 5 years, and this person, yeah, said that to me, and I was like, whoa, like I
Yeah.
don't even think about you.
I know. I
That's
know.
so bad. I feel bad. Like I don't
So
want to hurt
bad.
anyone's feelings, but I'm like, wow, like what that makes me curious. I'm curious about it. It's like, could you have a soulmate you don't recognize, or like one of us is getting it wrong?
I know. I know. It's like I've apparently been wrong in a bunch of these connections. This sounds so bad, but like honestly, like yeah, I've had quite a few like you're my soulmate, I know it and stuff. And I was like, you do? Like over here, like thinking about setting up the next date that I'm about to go on or whatever. Like I didn't even,
You're
I
on
was like,
Tinder and
what?
you're like,
Yeah, I was seriously, I like stopped my scrolling on Tinder. I'm like, oh, you do? They're like, yeah. That's really how it was. I'm like, okay. But then I think about that. I'm like, okay, like I'm sitting here talking about this person that I felt like I had this instant connection with, and we were like dating and stuff. He probably totally feels that way. He's like, wait, who? Like, who are you again? I didn't even know. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting. It's like one of us is getting this wrong here, like missing the signal. I don't think if they're a true soulmate, I really don't think that you like would miss it. I
sure.
don't think you just miss that, like the signal and the signs and stuff like that. I don't know, because like you just feel it. But do you have like do you have people in your life right now, like friends, family and stuff that you consider soulmates, that you think you've had like
Yeah,
past lives with or anything like that?
I do. I definitely feel that way about Dallin. I'm obsessively in love with this human being.
Cute.
And it's been 3
It doesn't matter
years.
where his Uranus placement is.
We'll talk. We work it out. We worked it out. um,
Yeah.
it's been 3 years, and I feel like I literally do feel like obsessively in love with him, but like obviously in a healthy obsession. It's a
As
good thing
healthy as
he's
you
a
can
yeah.
get
I
with
mean, he's a
Scorpio.
Pisces and I'm a Scorpio, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, healthy wouldn't be the no, I'm just kidding.
wouldn't go down that. No, I definitely feel that way though. Like I think my mom and my dad, I think I both of them are like a
Cute.
soulmate for me. And like my mom's like one of my best friends and we're super close on like a whole other level than I see most people with their mothers. Um, and it's really interesting because most of my friends don't necessarily have great relationships with their moms.
Oh,
And so,
weird.
yeah. And so it's like a mirror of like, oh, like we have a very
Hmm.
uniquely close relationship.
Yeah.
Um, and like, yeah, I really enjoy that. And I think I'm that way with my dad too. And I think my dad and me, though, are more on the side of like we have more mirrors for each other.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my mom feel connected. Like we've definitely done this jam like 1,000 times, and me and my
That's
dad, it's
cute.
yeah. And I think I have with my father as well, just like we are definite mirrors for each other. But if that's true too, it's like we're in a good place where we still can show each other love,
Yeah.
and really disagree on a lot.
I'm like, that's so funny. Really disagree on everything. That's
Yeah.
funny.
But and then I
Cute.
think like I thought about it recently because I think Dallin's mom I've definitely met in other lifetimes too.
Oh,
And I really click with her like right off the bat. Um and that's like
that's
my
cool.
yeah, these are the people that I spend the most time with, like physically, I guess. Um I've definitely felt that way about Sakara.
Hmm.
Um though we have ups and downs or whatever, but I think about like Kalia and Katie probably the
Yeah.
most as far as my friends, where it's like there's just not a question of them being in my life.
Yeah.
Like it's not you just I don't know. It's just that it just is. That's how it feels.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a very certain certainty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that way with Alina, my best friend Alina. Like I really feel that way with her. I've always felt like she's like a soulmate. Maybe we're sisters in a past life or whatever. It feels like a very sisterly connection. Um, Sometimes I also feel like it's a very motherly connection. Like on her side, like she was the mother before or something
Mm,
I've thought of.
yeah.
But I don't know, it'd be cool to do like a past life regression and see, or I don't know, we're both like really into this stuff and like do sessions or whatever. So I don't know, but I've definitely felt that way about her, about a lot of my friends. I feel really close and connected to a lot of my friends, like on a deep like soul level. I feel so seen and so like I don't know. I know that I've mentioned my friends before in the family podcast because I talked about like they're my family. We've seen each other so many things. Um, and yeah, it's like the closest to like unconditional love
Mm,
that I mean that I could think of getting to. Like we loved each other through all these different selves that we've been.
yeah.
That's really beautiful. Um, Definitely felt that way about my gramps.
Mm,
My grandpa, I really feel like he was my soulmate. And he, yeah, he like, we just had such a special bond and people could see it all the time too and just be like, oh my gosh, like you guys are so cute. We had like little inside jokes. Yeah, he just like, I don't know. It was really cool. And the fact that he was my grandpa and we weren't even blood related and just how he even became my grandpa, that all just is kind of interesting. Like it just when I look at everything, how that all came to be, I'm just like, he was meant to be, like he was supposed to be in my life. And I feel like we've had past lives together where he was different things. He wasn't always my grandpa and stuff, but maybe we were brother and sister, or maybe we were like whatever. I totally feel like we've had past lives together before. So yeah, he's definitely one of them.
absolutely. Your guys'
Um,
story is adorable. It's like one of my favorite, I guess I was going to say one of my favorite love stories. It's still a love story, right?
oh yeah, yeah, totes,
I think it's so cute.
totes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Gramps, a lot of
Cool.
my friends. Well, I'm looking on my Yeah. Yeah. My brother, my younger brother, I forgot. I've always talked about how he's one of my soulmates, which is weird because our relationship has been rocky at times too, or like we don't have a lot of contact lately. But I remember when he was born, just being like, he's my soulmate. I totally feel like we've known each other in a past life. Even when he was really young, like we've always been so emotionally connected. We have this like, we just can feel each other. Like I don't know. It's very interesting. And I feel like eventually like our relationship will get really, really close again, like it was. I think it's just kind of a matter of time, but I've always felt like he's one of my soulmates
I
as
think it's
well.
one of those things when there's soulmate, it transcends like the human experience. It's
Yes.
like human Nakisha and I don't even know your brother's name, but your brother are having these like things happen on this plane as human beings, and we all kind of have to like live through the fact that we are just a human being. And but
Tauruses, toddlers.
but as soulmates, it's like you kind of transcend that. It's like in the back of your mind or in your heart or wherever you place that. It's like you just still feel that connection and love regardless, even if
Mhm.
you don't talk to that person again. That's kind of how I feel about soulmates.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I
I
feel
try
that
to
way
send
too.
everyone love, but some people it feels like it's a connected love, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it feels with him. There's still that love there. And I still feel this connection to him, even when we're not super connected at times. But like, yeah, I don't know. I really think I've always kind of had a strong feeling that like somewhere in at a future point, we're really going to be solidified again. I don't know, like maybe live near each other again or whatever it is, but I really feel like that's going to come back together at some point. And I've always felt that way. I don't know, but
Yeah. And I love
interesting.
the like little you're talking about the soul families too, because I kind of feel the same way. And like me and Dallin are trying to have a kid and we've been trying for a couple of months. And that's an interesting can like process. Um, one of the things I was reading actually just today was this woman on Instagram that I followed for many, many years, and she's trying to have her second kid, and she's talking about conscious conception. And she was talking about waiting, not forcing it, but actually, like, she talks a lot about talking to her baby before conceiving it, like
Mm-hmm.
feeling your baby's spirit and then waiting for your baby to be ready to be born, as opposed to trying to force it. And she was saying with her first child, she like could feel him like in her arms and she could feel him like walking next to her on the beach and that kind of thing, like he was there with her.
Oh,
And I was like
oh,
thinking about that a lot because I was like, oh shit, I wonder, I haven't really like thought about it, but it's like I've had dreams of like a little girl before, since I've been with Dallin or whatever. And whatever that means, I don't know, but I feel like I'm going to pay more attention to that, like their little souls
yeah.
or whatever, and just like feel into that part of it. And like she wants to feel connected. And she mentions like not just wanting to birth any soul, but like the right soul.
Cute.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's really interesting way of looking at it. I've never thought about that. Not that I think you can
I
get the
dig
wrong
it.
one, but yeah.
Yeah. I totally believe in that. I actually believe that we like choose our parents as
Mm.
well. Like, yeah, kind of part of the soul contracts and like what we're wanting out of this lifetime or yeah, what we're needing or whatever. So I believe that we choose our parents. And so with that belief, it's really cool though, because now being a parent, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I do have the belief that Luna chose me. I do believe she regrets it now. No, I'm just kidding. But Tor and I joke all the time about like when we're being like all weird and silly and stuff, and Luna's just sitting there looking at us with her like serious face. We're like, oh yeah, you regret it. But I think she's always been around. It's funny, like I think she's been around me for a long time. And there was a little while ago, it was like a few years ago that Tor and I were just hanging out at my old apartment. And yeah, he was like, I just saw something like he's like, it's weird. It was like a little spirit or something. He's like, and it just crawled up to you right and went right up to your stomach and just curled up near your stomach. We were kind of like laying down and like cuddling and stuff. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, like I didn't get it like a bad feeling. It wasn't like a bad thing or anything. He's like, I think it's like your future child or something. And I was like, oh, he just says this stuff. And like, it's so funny. But yeah, I kind of was like, yeah, like I would believe it. You know, I kind of believe in that. And then quite a while later, yeah, when we had that psychic reading, she was talking about how I've been, she said, we're going to have 3 kids. She said, we're going to have 2 boys and 1 girl. And she said that I've always been like connected to them. Like, she's like, you can feel them now. You have a connection. You have a really strong connection to your children. He's like, oh, so it was really cool. A lot of the stuff that she said. She also said that she, oh wait, no. And then I got a different reading done later. She was the one that told me that Tor's ancestors are the ones that guided Luna into the earth. Like she was talking about like when at Luna's birth, she's like, I'm seeing them now, and she's like, it's mostly your husband's ancestors that are like guiding her in. I'm like, oh cute, they saw my vagina. So yeah, I was like,
just build a little brick road to it.
Just a red carpet rolls out.
I mean, it's Luna. I wouldn't doubt it.
With a limo. Yeah, it's a limo and like big sunglasses. Like, get in. We're going shopping. Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
I feel like she's like an older soul than most people. For sure.
I do too, but I'm biased. But yeah, she does like funny thing. Oh my gosh, today she peed in the potty for the first time. I was so happy. I was so excited. She's this little like ladybug potty. I just set her on. I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'll just get her familiar with this. Because most kids don't do that until like after 2. I don't know. I don't actually know when kids do, but I feel like this is really early. And I just sat her on it and stuff. She's just on it for a few minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like clapping for her and stuff. And so now she just like, with her clothes on and everything, she wants to like go sit on the potty. I'm like, wait, hold on. Just like sits on it all day now. But yeah, it was super cute. Yeah, she's special. I really do. I really feel like she's special. Like just her personality and stuff and her expressions. And I don't know. It's different. And the way she even like looks at other kids and stuff, she's so attentive.
She's something else for sure. I just think she's adorable.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Soulmates.
Soulmates.
Hey.
I didn't pre-pull my card yet, so well,
I was gonna make a sexual like innuendo about that, but I won't.
I'm like, why not?
I know, like, when have I ever backed down from that?
I was like, wait a second. What's wrong, Nakisha?
I guess I couldn't articulate it well enough, so I was like, yeah.
It wasn't a falafel.
Not this time.
Not this time. I know. I think, gosh, you know what I want to do? I feel like I'm going to just like do this. And then you just tell me like when to stop. Because I feel like you should be involved in this right now.
Stop.
Okay. I'm going to pull this off one then. The Sustainer.
Okay.
I don't even know. I know. I'm like, I want to take a guess. So it's a guy with like 2 hands, and it looks like he's holding a big round stone that also could possibly be a planet. It's a very gray
Oh,
granite. It looks like
okay.
clay. Ooh,
Huh.
and it's like purple and blue, like watercolors.
Ooh, that sounds really pretty.
It's really beautiful. I wish
Okay.
my camera would like show it better, but
It
also for
kind of
everyone,
showed the card, yeah. But
yeah, for like everyone else who is listening to this, it doesn't matter. So go to YouTube and I know as I'm like, wait, this card's not even in here. But there it is. Okay. The sustainer.
Woo.
Ooh, the peacemaker, the upholder, the preserver. The sustainer, the second archetype in the trio of existence, works behind the scenes, tending to the tasks of life. They cultivate gardens, pay bills, keep the meals warm, and the mouths sweetly fed. The sustainer is at peace in the process of life, knowing there is no start or finish to humble yet meaningful tasks. They have a natural inclination to nourish others, to archive, to preserve Earth's resources, to consider environmental impact, to see their role in the divine cycle of life. It's common for the sustainer to become overworked, leading to resentment. Their tasks aren't glamorous, and therefore the sustainer rarely receives the credit or attention the sustainer longs to hold. Oh, credit or attention. The sustainer longs to hold things in place so badly, especially relationships, that they resist necessary change. Take time with this archetype. It is within all of us and needs our love. When it is in light, it is abundant, generous, supportive, and reliable. And when in dark, it's overworked, resentful, trapped, and tired. And if you want to go deeper, it says you can look into Lakshmi, Vishnu, and Demeter. And take note of the difference between maintaining and sustaining. Which action describes your life more accurately? Maintaining or sustaining?
Oh.
Contemplate what truly sustains you. Make a list. Notice how simple yet powerful those things are and spend some time tending to them. I feel called out. Real like hardcore right now.
Shit. That's really
Oh
cool.
shit. I love that card. I'm trying to even think how it's related to soulmates, if it does or not, but it's kind of like for me personally, I was telling Dallin because we came home from our week-long trip yesterday, and I was like, man, I think this is the first time in my life I haven't felt the need to like leave all the time. And I'm like, I'm
Ooh.
becoming like, we went grocery shopping, which I hate grocery shopping. And I was like having fun. And I like
What?
told Dallin in the grocery store, and I was like, holy shit, I'm becoming like a homebody. And he was like joking with me. But I don't know. I feel like I just want to like nourish my home more than I've ever wanted to before, which is wildly different for me. So
Nice.
I'm like, maybe I'm becoming the sustainer.
Maybe. Yeah.
Collective. I feel like that's a good card just in general. Like,
Yeah.
consider more environmental impacts and preserving Earth's resources.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. Cute. Oh, and I also hate grocery shopping.
I know, you order it and you go pick it up, right?
Yeah, like I can't even, and that I can barely even deal with. Like I can't leave my house anymore. So there's that.
That's so funny. Well, and it was like one step further because I have been ordering food for so long, like, and getting it delivered, like made food. And then we just took a step. I was like, okay, well, let's go to the grocery store. But we just bought pre-made food. I didn't like go grocery shopping in my food. I'm not like at the point where I want to cook. I cooked twice in a row last week, and Dawn was like, what's wrong with you?
Bro, I'm so bad about that. Yeah, if I cook twice in 1 week, I'm like, okay, like someone needs to take over. This is too much.
Getting to be way too much work.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like to cook. I refuse to eat anything out of a freezer or a box. And that doesn't leave me a lot of food choices.
Yeah.
So it's like,
You have like nuts.
eat bananas. Well,
Well, how do you feel about it?
good.
I forgot we didn't do our sign off.
Me and you're like,
I'm like, wait, we didn't do the sign off.
how dare you? Just kidding. Yeah, I feel really good about it. So thank you everyone for spending this time with us. We really enjoy doing this, and the more you listen, the easier it is for us to keep creating. So if you like it, please hit subscribe and like and follow us. We will put the links. We'll put the links down below. And remember to be wise
and get weird.